Konnichiwa, hello and welcome. Daily vlog for Sunday, what is today, the 16th? Yeah, the 16th of March. I always look over here at the red dot on my iPad instead of looking over here, which is the camera. Hello, people in the camera land. So, I did a thing on Facebook. This is my iPhone. And I asked people on my Myargonauts on Facebook page, right there, to ask me questions. And I said I would answer them, and I got a bunch. So thank you very much. A lot of them are really good, too. So it might take me today and tomorrow to get through them all. But here we go. Maybe this vlog will be a little long. I'll try to keep it in the 10 to 15 minute range. And then maybe, again, address the rest of the questions tomorrow. But thank you. If you're interested in going on Facebook and leaving a question, I'm pretty sure if you go to Facebook and you type the word, all one word, Myargonauts, you'll find my page. I doubt there's too many other things that go by that on Facebook. Okay. Actually, the thing that prompted me to leave that request early on my morning, was I got a direct message on Facebook, which you can also do if you want to message me privately. And a guy named Sam was just asking me about something he felt I hadn't addressed in one of my jet videos. So I said, look, his question was a little vague. I said, can you be more specific? And I'll answer it on camera. And so he did send me back a reply. And basically his question is, sorry, I'm going to turn off my aircon here is my heat, but it's not that cold today, so I'll turn it off so the fan doesn't make noise. His question was basically about, I know you were a bit older when you went, etc. He's around 25 and he wants to do jet, but he's wondering about how do you put your life on hold in your home country. I believe he's American, I'm American. When you're going to go off to Japan, and maybe for a year, hopefully longer. I mean, hopefully you guys will come and enjoy Japan, enjoy being an ALT, and it could end up being 2 years, 3 years. I ended up being, as you all know, 5 years when I was part of the JET program, and even longer now. For me, it wasn't difficult. Even though I was older, I didn't own my own home or anything. I was actually, when I left for Japan, I was living with my sister and finishing my degree. I started school early, took off almost my entire 20s, and then didn't go back to school until I was in my 30s and finished when I was 34. And so while I was doing that last 2 years, and I decided to go back to school full-time to finish my degree at the University of California in San Diego, my sister was nice enough to let me move in with her. She was divorced, and so she had her daughter, my niece, and her, and so we got a 3-bedroom place, and yeah, it was great. And so I did that for the 2 years right before I moved to Japan. So when I moved to Japan, I had a big garage sale. I sold a bunch of stuff. Some of the stuff was kind of belonged to my former girlfriend, so we remained friends. So she came and picked up stuff. And really, I just whittled my stuff down, and I put a lot of stuff in storage. And I've talked a lot about that storage unit on other videos, so I'm not going to go into that now. Because I really didn't know. The biggest thing that I had that had to go into storage, and it was in the garage at the place where I was living with my sister, was my comic book collection. I don't know if you've ever been to an actual comic book collector's home, but if you're really into the hobby like I was, you have these boxes, and there's short ones and there's long ones. And long ones hold about 300 comics, and I had over 40 of them at the time. So stacking, like 8 across, 5 rows high type of thing, it took up a lot of space. but you want to keep, you want to keep things like your domestic accounts open. You want to keep your bank open. If you have a credit card, all that stuff can be handy, especially now. It's changed so much in the past 10 years. You want to be able to go on iTunes. You want to be able to go to Amazon and buy things. You want to be able to book a plane ticket or, blah, 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 blah. So, I don't really know, as far as putting your life on hold, as far as people, that varies so much from individual to individual. But I will say that it's changed so much that it's so much easier now to stay in touch with people if you really want to. With Skype, when I first came over, a big company that advertised at Tokyo Orientation, they'd have these tables and these companies, like, the Yomiuri Shimbun was there, like, hey, subscribe to our newspaper. But a big company was Yahoo BB. And the big pull of Yahoo BB was that if you got their internet service, they also included long distance. And you didn't have to, buy a phone card or do this. I mean, that's a thing of the past, right? Like, everybody now, you just would Skype talk to whoever. Or I actually use Skype because my father is in his 70s and doesn't really have a computer. I just use Skype to call his landline now. And I make a phone call through the computer. And it's like 3 cents a minute or something ridiculously cheap. So a lot of that stuff's not hard. I mean, as far as putting your life on hold in that sense. The only thing I'll add to that really quick, and if I didn't answer some specific facet of it, Sam, leave a comment or send me a further message, and I'll see if I can give you more information. But I will say this about Jet, and maybe this should be expanded upon in a further thing, but you have to want to do Jet because of the experience you're going to have being in Japan. I really do feel now, after having finished Jet, having talked to a lot of people that I knew as Jets who did finish as well as me, around the same time, a little bit after, a little bit before, Jet just doesn't look that interesting on a resume most of the time. I'm not going to, that's a generalization. But what I found is that, on your resume to say, hey, I went off to a foreign country and taught English for 3 years, for 5 years, for 2 years. It's like, okay, and, it's not as helpful as you might think. Unless, of course, you want to get a job, in a Japanese company back in your, there's a Japanese company in London you want to work for, a Japanese company in South Africa, or wherever you're from. You really do become fluent in Japanese and therefore am able to parlay that into something. But in general, it is kind of a hole in your resume, I will say that. So, it's hard. You have to be prepared to go back and have that 2 years, that 3 years of experience be worth it in and of itself, because it might not enhance your career prospects. I have a good friend, for instance, who was doing a medical-related job, I'll just say, before she came. She came on Jet. She stayed 3 years. She loved it. Now she's back, and she's going to become an airline flight attendant. So it's like, you just have to sort of rewrite yourself. But, some of the things that she learned on Jet, how to deal with people, all different foreign people. I mean, you can spin your experience on Jet into so many different positives that I feel like it is a worthwhile experience. And there are certainly people that are looking for people that have experience traveling and being abroad and stuff. So I don't want it to make it sound like a huge negative, but at the same time, you put your life on hold, but sometimes you can put your career and your aspirations on hold as well. But again, I don't think there's any greater experience in life, or any greater educator in life sometimes, than taking yourself out of your safety zone and putting yourself in another culture, especially one as different as Japan is from most Western cultures. So, I just, again, I can't speak highly enough about my experience and how much I enjoy doing Jet. Okay, wow, I'm already at 9 minutes. All I did was answer Sam. Okay, well, let's answer a few more here. So, Sam, that was your answer. Thanks for the comment. Ed asked, do you plan on pursuing a master's degree? I don't know. I really did need to make a decision, and I'm still sort of on the fence. And the fence is, it would allow me to go to a different university in Japan, so if I'm serious about wanting to live in a more urban environment, say Fukuoka or Kobe, Osaka, somewhere else, it would allow me to more easily get a job at another Japanese university. But I don't know that I want to go back into debt for, say, 20 grand, to get a master's degree. I really have to struggle with that and decide. And what is your current degree? My current degree, I got a degree in, my BA is in American history with a minor in Japanese studies. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making videos. I really enjoy them. Thank you for the comment, Ed. Gerard asks a funny question. It threw me for a loop. What happened to the duet you were doing some time ago? And I'm like, the duet? Is he talking about some Google Hangout I was doing? Some kind of, there's me and another J-vlogger. And then he goes, ROFL, the diet, dumb autocorrect. I don't really, guys, I don't want to talk about my diet, my weight. All of you, make comments about, like the other video when I made, like, did I go to Mossberg or did I go to KFC? I just thought it would be fun, like, you choose one, I'll tell you. And then I get all these comments, I hope you didn't go to either, they're both garbage, Well, come on, guys, it's, yeah, I'm overweight, I live with that. That's my own thing. I honestly don't think it has any impact on, my brain and what I'm telling you and information that we share, etc., etc. So, but no, I'm not on a diet, Gerard. I'm sorry. I will say this, that I am seriously 2014. I've said it a few times, and I'm hopefully going to make it true, is the year I give up Coca-Cola. Is I really am going to try this year to give up soda, because I know how bad it is for me, and, etc., etc. But I'm addicted, just like someone is to smoking or coffee or whatever else. So we'll see, but I am going to try. Okay, No Rain, No Rainbow asks, what's up with that test of courage tradition? Do they do that in real life in Japanese schools? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. No Rain, No Rainbow. Leave it again. Explain more. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Okay. Hi. Let's see. I'm at 12 minutes. Maybe 2 more. How hard is it to set up your internet as a foreigner? This is Antonio asking. This will be helpful since I start my Japanese teaching in a couple of days. Wow. Well, ganbatte. Good luck. It's not difficult in the sense of there's nothing barring you as a foreigner from getting internet. The only thing is everything is in Japanese. So it is difficult to set up your Wi-Fi or whatever, because the modem you buy is all the instructions are gonna be in Japanese. Installation of certain things is all gonna be in Japanese. So I know back in 2004, when I first moved to Taisha, I certainly would not have been able to do any of it. And we had to basically get the tech guy from the Kyoiku Inkai, the BOE, to come to my apartment and set up my internet. And unfortunately, he had almost never seen a Mac before. I had a brand new MacBook back then. And so if you have Apple products, be prepared for that to really throw people for a loop a little bit. Not so much still, but even still, even at my university, they're very PC oriented here. But I recently got, I had just an internet connection. I had a cable that I was plugging into my laptop every day when I would come home. I'd take my laptop out of my bag because I take it to school almost every day, and I would just plug in the wire, and obviously my Mac automatically, puts me on the internet. And then I finally decided, okay, well, I'm going to get a router, and I'm just going to get Wi-Fi because I'm also going to have an iPad. And to set that up, I needed to have a Japanese friend come over and help me, to be honest. You just have to, read the manual about how to set these things up. It wasn't difficult. It didn't take us that long. But yeah, sometimes you just do need someone that speaks Japanese, or more importantly, reads Japanese to help you. But when I first came over, for some reason, it took a while to get my internet. But now I would think, once you've got your gaijin card, that you're sort of registered in the city, and you can get, NTT or whatever service is going to give you your internet, you can get you can get your internet set up within days. So it's probably not going to be tough. But don't expect to have it like going, the day after you get here. I will say that caveat. You might have to use it at work for a few days before you get it at home. You might have to go to an internet cafe or a manga cafe or something and use it for a few days. You might have to get, you might even have your cell phone before you have your internet, just for whatever reason. But hopefully you'll move into an apartment or something that's, it's in a building or something that already has it all set up. Okay, I already went over 15. All right, well, I hate when these are this long, because I know some people look at that, 18, 19 minutes, and then they're like, why would I ever watch that? Okay, so this is the last one for this video. I'll save the rest for tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Oh my gosh. If you watched all the way to the end, leave a comment and tell me who your favorite Avenger is. That way I'll know you watched until the 17-minute mark or whatever. Look at my Avengers cup. It's all getting all beat up and shit. Oh, man. Look at the poor Hulk. I guess I scrub it too much when I wash the cup. Okay. Last one. Sophie, your question's a little too vague. I don't know. What are my personal and professional goals for the future? I don't know. I like living in Japan. I want to keep doing that. I like teaching. I want to keep doing that. Beyond that, I'm not one of these overly ambitious people, and that's probably one of the reasons my girlfriend broke up with me a long time ago. I don't have a huge burning desire to, be the president of something, or, I'd like to leave my mark. I'd like to have some kind of legacy. But, yeah, I don't know. People talk to me about writing a book. People talk to me about, this and that. I've got these videos. People seem to like them and watch them year after year. That's nice that I've been able to do that. I don't really have any huge plans for the future, to be honest. I take it as it comes. All right, Daniel Lund. Woo. Okay, Daniel's going to be the last person. Number 1, do you ever talk to DW81 still, and what happened to him if you know? No. And that's a shame, because he was a really nice guy. He was if you guys don't know, he was a vlogger that kind of got inspired by me, and then started to make his own videos in America, then joined Jet, came out to Japan, and you thought he was going to just take the vlogging world by storm. He had really entertaining videos. He was a vegetarian. He liked to be outdoors and hike and bike and all this stuff, and he made like 5 videos and then fell off the face of the earth. I heard that he got a Japanese girlfriend, and obviously his time went away. I did meet him one other time, and I think it's in one of my videos, or it's in Busan Kevin's videos. We all met up one time in Kobe, and I did get to chat with him a little bit, and he seemed to be enjoying life, and just YouTube wasn't a thing for him anymore. And he's just one of those frustrating people that obviously decided not to do anything on his channel anymore, so you're just left hanging. I wish people, at least, if they've kind of, developed a following and have followers, would go on and say, hey, life's taken over, I'm not really into YouTube anymore, thank you for watching, sayonara, and they make that kind of final video, but he never did. And so, yeah, I really don't know what's up. I haven't spoken to him in years, though, to be honest. I know it's a rural area, but have you ever seen any tourists in your area? You mean like obvious other quote-unquote Westerners, or you mean... I see... We don't really have anything in my town that's touristy. Close by, there's a famous tourist spot. And then, of course, I used to live in Taisha, which is a huge tourist destination, but not mainly for people from other countries, because Taisha was so far off the grid as far as, like, connecting with train routes and everything. To come to Shimane, you really have to want to come here. And yeah, so God, I'm going to go over 20. No, I almost never see tourists in where I am now. It's just too remote and rural, and there's just nothing here to bring them here. They may be passing through or something, but I'm not walking around town all the time. But yeah, back in Izumo, when I used to live in Taisha, I certainly would see people at the shrine and stuff. And if I was, going to school in the middle of the day, or say leaving my junior high and going to a elementary school nearby, I would see people with backpacks and stuff getting off at the train station, walking up to the shrine. And of course, there could be, Korean or, Chinese tourists that I wouldn't necessarily right away peg as a tourist, because they're not as obvious right at the outset. But yeah, here where I am now, no. I almost never see. The joke is you know every foreigner in the town, because there's only like 17 of us, and we all know who everybody is. Wow, he's got a bunch of questions. Okay, this is just going really long. Hopefully this is interesting. What age group do you prefer teaching, and why? And that's a very good question. I just had a month-long eikaiwa substitute teaching, where I got to teach 3-4-year-olds. I got to teach junior high kids. I had a few high school kids, and then I had adults. And it was interesting to teach this variety again, because obviously I teach Daigakusei, which are 18 to 22-year-olds pretty exclusively. So it's not that I prefer teaching one age over the other. Obviously, the older the student, the more you can chat with them, the more life experience they have, the more interesting they are as human beings. So sure, I love teaching my Daigakusei. But they also have lives, and they have lots of other interests, and et cetera, et cetera. I've always said that junior high is probably the sweet spot, because the kids are old enough that they're not just talking about boogers and farts, and they're not high school kids yet, so they haven't got all anxiety-ridden about their future, or about their love life, or about their acne, or whatever it is. They're kind of in that middle period where everything's changing, but they're still Genki. They kind of still like English for the most part, because it hasn't really beaten them down yet. The schools that have tons of cool stuff to do and participate in, like Sports Day and Bunkasai, and concerts and sports teams, and I liked being involved in that. I liked being part of the big school spirit system and seeing all the classes, etc., etc., and I kind of missed that a little bit. But, and I've said this in other videos too really quick, I love the way I'm in charge of my own classes at college. The fact that I made a Beatles class last semester completely from my own brain and my own materials, and taught that for 15 weeks. And, that was very satisfying for me. So, I've got a friend, PJ, in Osaka, who's about to do like a criminal justice themed society class, based on the Nolan Dark Knight movies, I mean, the fact that you can do things like that at college is really cool. So, and I just don't have time. I really do want to finish this before 25 minutes. What are the major things that you miss or glad to be rid of now that you aren't part of JET? Thanks. Wow. I'd have to think about that, Daniel. I'm not sure. I'll try to remember to respond to that when I pick this up in tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow I'm going to see Frozen in 3D, in English with Nihongo Jimaku, in Japanese subtitles. So if I do have a vlog up, it will be late, like when I get home. And there's a new expressway open that might make my journey to this movie theater I often go to shorter. I have to see if it's free or if it's cost money. But it's very exciting tomorrow. Yay! So, or maybe I'll just have an on-the-spot vlog, at the movie theater, etc. So, thank you for watching. 25 minutes. You guys, you're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, peace. Bye.